Greetings, respected viewers. I'm George from Ireland. So this is about lockdown in the United Kingdom, which was announced only a bit over an hour ago. So the Prime Minister came on telly. The very fact he's doing it at 8:30 in the evening said something. Even though they do it at 5:30, well after the working day, although most people are working from home, of course, these days, bounced into it. He's facing a cabinet revolt. There might have been resignations. Moreover, strong-armed by France, because there are still transport links, as in trucks going back and forth carrying comestibles and other necessaries. And the French said, you are not taking this seriously. If you don't really take proper measures about coronavirus, we will just cut you off. It will be a hard Brexit, and you will not be bringing in the means of life from us. Sometimes they're actually French products, sometimes it's just transiting France. So Boris Johnson has caved in. Various other politicians within his own party, the other parties, the devolved administrations have banged their fists on the table. And so as of tomorrow, non-essential workplaces have to be shut. You can go to the supermarket and the pharmacy, and that's just about it. Seems to me that emergency workers can still go. Up until then now, it was the government warning people, encouraging people to take action, but it was not actually with force of law. Now, I'm unsure for the statutory basis of this. This is underpinned by which Act of Parliament. I wouldn't have been able to invoke the Defence of the Realm Acts from 1914, as in their past of the First World War, but they could be used since. For instance, used in 1982 in relation to the Falklands conflict to commandeer a certain ship that the Royal Navy needed to transport so many soldiers. So it might have been on that basis, saying that it's illegal to operate most premises. Parks will be open, will be allowed to take exercise, no more than 2 people out together unless you live together. Well, how are they going to police that? And the police have the powers of arrest to disperse gatherings or people opening their businesses illegally. Because cycling around London, I saw barber shops open today, bookshops, things which are not important, bicycle repair shops, but they want us to avoid public transport. And by the way, public transport might be shut down, but therefore cycle. So reduce my exposure to it, or if I've got it, my chance of passing it on to others. So there are pros and cons to doing this. It can actually backfire, closing too many things. Weddings and all that off. Funerals, be allowed, a gathering. Should we go hardcore like Italy? No. One person, priest never met her or whatever celebrant, performing the obsequies and burying the person. So it's going to last for 3 weeks, see how it goes, and hopefully come out the other side. He said in 12 weeks we can beat this, not guaranteeing we'll beat it. What does beat mean? We have to come up with the definition of that. So we need to face up to the fact that this is going to go on for several months in some form. What is a tolerable level of morbidity? Because the government said we'd be lucky to get away with under 20,000 deaths. So the 300 we've had so far may be the tip of the iceberg. 101 today. The youngest one who died today was 104, mostly either elderly or suffered severe pre-existing conditions, respiratory conditions. Could be emphysema, could be pneumonia. I don't know what else. Lung cancer. Smokers are particularly in risk from this. So you're hazarding your health twice as much by smoking these days. So some of these people would have died anyway quite soon based on their age. A woman aged 105 died today, or their condition. So what is this excess morbidity? Now that's difficult to calculate. We don't know how far it's going to go, and much of it depends on how we handle it in terms of public policy. Well, what the health services can do, how many doctors and nurses they have, the ventilators, do they need medicines? I don't know. Okay, I'm a babe in the woods when it comes to matters medical. Moreover, policy in terms of stopping people moving around and passing on the disease. So what's this going to do to the economy? Well, the economy's taken a real battering, so is the rest of the world. Obviously, hotels, restaurants, any tour companies, and airlines, they're screaming. So the government's gonna bail them out, I think, into businesses as well as wages. What if you're not one of those, but your business is suffering? I don't know. One doesn't like to gloat, but I'm doing better because of it. So book online lessons with me, because more people at home are seeking lessons. So I know that wouldn't make me terribly popular, and no, I don't wish it could be coronavirus all the time. For completely selfish reasons as well as unselfish ones, I don't want to be virtually imprisoned here, turning me stir crazy. So yeah, it's going to hammer the economy. People not out and spending, although some of them could just go crazy when they go out. I really want to go wild because I just can't spend this money. And how effectively can we police it? Because, the UK doesn't have enough police. They're stuck doing paperwork all the time. It might be a little bit easier for them because it's very difficult to commit crime. If there's so few people on the streets, the police are going to notice you. One of my friends was saying, oh, well, they'll try breaking into offices because nobody's around. But you're even more conspicuous because there's almost no one on the street. Police stop you. Hello, what are you doing here? And the police might find it easier to locate people because they'll be at home. But the really on-the-run people are not where their actual home is. Well, they're of no fixed abode. So when is it safe to reduce this? 101 deaths today. When we're down to 90 deaths or 80 deaths or 70 deaths, at what point can we lift the restrictions at least partially, or the infections going up? Now, the National Health Service has tested, I think it was 83,000 people. Is it 6,000 have got it already within the UK? Now, as the testing goes out, the figure may go up, not really because the disease is spreading, but they're detecting it. They've got the capacity to do so. So some countries have got very high numbers, like Germany, but that might be a reflection on the efficacy of their health system. They're very good at identifying the symptoms and testing those people. So other countries with very poor health systems may not be doing so, so therefore their figure may be deceptively low. So in Italy, it seems to be at least slowing. France and Spain, that is having some sort of effect. It's got to, like, where it started in, what's that city called? Wuhan, after 6 weeks, yeah, of course, that's reduced it, and Beijing likewise. And so they have relaxed some of the restrictions. But one swallow does not a summer make. Some of this could be a blip. It could go back up again. We could lift restrictions too early and have another spike. Have we reached the pinnacle already? I fear not. Maybe in someone like Italy it has. So Norway and Switzerland, well, Norway's got actually quite a few cases. No, not very many cases, sorry. Only a few cases. The Scandinavian countries generally, Eastern European countries generally, European solidarity and all that. I thought they might dispatch doctors, nurses and ventilators to countries where they're more badly needed. We're all good Europeans now. Well, the United Kingdom is not a good European country anymore. Switzerland's got a very high number of cases, 7,000 cases, even though its population is about a tenth of the UK. Again, that might be partly due to just how efficient the Swiss health system is. Singapore was highly efficient in finding this and controlling it, effectively isolating people. Could it be something to do with heat? And I know this is just educated guesswork. Well, I'm not the one who said this, but even even the so-called experts say this is conjecture, because Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, none of them renowned for outstanding healthcare, very close to China, some of them adjacent to China, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and yet they've had very few cases and very few deaths. That could also reflect the fact that their healthcare system is poorly funded, is under-equipped, and maybe they're just not diagnosing enough cases, and people are dying, and maybe misdiagnosed the cause of death. It might be a contributory factor, and so perhaps they've gravely underestimated the severity of the disease. It might be a great deal more widespread than we're led to believe. The United States got 32,000 cases, only 200 deaths so far, but I suspect again, it's going to go leaping up, because as I've adumbrated in a previous video, people very often not able to get tested, not enough ventilators and all the rest of it. So if you're rich, you're going to survive, and if you're poor, you're going to die in many cases. And there's this attitude in the United States: the government cannot tell me what to do, and that's quite bloody-minded. I have some sympathy with that, but the same people who say that often are the ones who are really hardcore on drugs. Even possession of cannabis, you should be banged up for years. But not in this one, or be warrantless wiretapping. The government should surveil people. Well, if they're brown, they should, but they don't want the government to try and help people. And the thing is, you having coronavirus is actually not just about you. It affects everyone else. Am I my brother's keeper? Well, you owe some sort of a duty to your neighbour. You can pass it on to others, and through no fault of their own, who came into contact with you fleetingly. So there's this notion that the government is bad. Well, that's usually from people who want the government to spend more on the military. Or the federal government is particularly pernicious. What the state government isn't quite so baleful. Those who disbelieve in vaccines, those are anti-scientific. The anti-vaxxers seem to be curiously silent, maybe because they know that what their discourse is really just bull, and we need them, and they save so many lives. So I think these people of faith will not do themselves a great deal of good if they carry on going to their mega churches praying for the illness to go away. Wasn't it God who created it in the first place? I mean, according to that worldview. So yeah, how much economic damage can we sustain? And then that obviously makes it more difficult to pay for the healthcare we so need. We could obviously tax the rich more. I'd be fine with that, taxing certainly millionaires and billionaires a great deal more. So not looking forward to this UK lockdown, but as Saraiva Novello wrote, there's a silver lining through the dark cloud shining, and I can go around on my push bike a great deal more. It's quieter, not so many planes going to Heathrow, but I really want to be able to travel places. In Italy, you can't even go from one municipality to the next unless there's some sort of urgent need. And maybe the fines handed out are not sufficient deterrent. 100 Swiss francs in Switzerland. How big is the fine? So how many people are going to be arrested? This is going to be difficult to police. Restaurants were selling takeaways already. Well, I just missed the kind of last chance to get one. So I'm really not looking forward to it. It is a grave situation. So 300 people in the UK died. It's going to be a lot more. Despite this extreme lockdown, some of those who caught it 2 weeks ago will only just be manifesting symptoms. Some of those are already being diagnosed, being treated, and might struggle on for several weeks. So I'm sorry to say that I think the worst is yet to come. But as I say, the Far East seems to have contained it, and the death toll is going down. Countries whose statistics I would trust, like South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, have got a good handle on it. Anyway, so I believe that we're all going to die anyway. As fellow passengers to the grave, we may as well just entertain each other, crack a few jokes, because being glum isn't going to save a single life. Being mirthful isn't going to kill anyone. So might as well enjoy yourself whilst you can. Memento mori, all right? So drink up. That's my message. Don't trust in tomorrow too much. Don't put it off. Do it today, what you want to do. Make that phone call. Tell that person you love them, just in case you don't see them again, or even better if you do. So there are not really many ways to enjoy yourself. Skype, watching things, listening to things, exercise at home. Right, that's enough for me. So book online lessons with me in history, English as a foreign language, English literature, politics, religious studies, geography, French, law, and follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Anything else? Buy my book, Super Tutors. It's a Kindle-only book. And choose me as your tour guide in London when tourism reopens in the next millennium. Toodaloo.